Hello everyone, this is Calvin, Professor C here. Oh my god, I just realized I haven't talked to you guys and upload a video for over 2 months. And this is the first time in my last 3 years that I haven't uploaded any video for that long. Last 2 months is quite chaotic for me, but I miss you guys so much. I hope that you guys would not forget about me. But there are so many things I want to talk to you about because there are so many changes in the upcoming new year that I want to talk to you about. So without further ado, let us go to the content. But if this is the first time in my channel, this channel is all about helping new mortgage agents making more money and faster. I have a lot of educational video, from some very practical one to some mindsets and a lot of updated news and all that stuff. Okay, so let's go. So there are a lot of changes, especially government rules that is coming into effect that you should know in January 1st, 2023. And the first one is foreign buyer ban. You may have heard about it, but I don't think you know the detail about it. So, again, effective January 1st, 2023, if you are not a citizen, permanent resident, or a recognized refugee, then you are going to be banned from purchasing residential property. That's in a nutshell what it is. So what I put there is if you're a Canadian citizen, permanent resident, or recognized refugee, then you are no ban. You don't have to worry about it. If your spouse or common law is a Canadian citizen, permanent resident, or recognized refugee, there's no ban also, as long as you buy with them. So let's say the wife is a Canadian citizen and the husband is not, has not been citizen, is not a permanent resident and all that. You can still jointly buy it. It only affects residential property and not commercial property. In the notes that where I find the source from, it also said that vacation property is okay, you can buy it. Now, how they define vacation property, I read it, still very complex, too complex for me to explain it to you. So I will link all the source where I find the information in the description of the video. You can read it yourself, but not only that, I highly suggest you consult a lawyer or an accountant before you proceed, because again, I am not a legal or accounting tax expert. The purpose of this video, just to remind you, is to let you know that there's something happening there and you should dig deeper yourself. I'm just giving you the nutshell. Okay, now there is an exemption for temporary resident. So what they mean is work permit and student permit. And this foreign buyer ban, we have talked about it throughout 2022, but the detail of this exemption and all that only came out December 21st, so a couple of days ago. And that's why I said a lot of you may have heard about it but do not know the detail about it, because I only know about the detail about it a couple of days ago. So who is the exception for the temporary resident? These are the rules. For student who is holding on to the student permit, they have 4 criteria you have to meet. You have to file all the required income tax each of the 5 taxation years. Now, this sentence preceding the year in which the purchase was made, I am not 100% sure what they mean. So I think if you want to buy in 2024, then you need to file your tax in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. That's how I understand it. But of course, I'm not, 100% correct. So you go find someone else, lawyer or tax accountant, to confirm it. Okay. Second, you have to be physically present in Canada for minimum of 244 days, again, each of the 5 calendar years. The third criteria is the purchase price of the property cannot be exceeding $500,000. Now that one would give you some trouble if you want to buy something in Toronto or Vancouver or something like that. So good luck with that. But if you are in somewhere else, then you should be fine. And lastly, you cannot previously have a residential property in Canada. Okay. Now, second exception, that you can have is if you are holding on to a work permit, right? Then if you fulfill these 3 criteria, you can still buy the property. So you work in Canada for a minimum of 3 years within the 4 previous year. Again, that wording preceding the year in which the purchase was made, not 100% sure. You also have to work full-time. Now, they have a definition of full-time, but I'm not going to go into it. I hope you understand whether you're full-time or not. If you have doubt, check the source, check with lawyer. Again, I will have all the source in the notes. And I actually copy and paste this whole thing, so because I didn't want to change any of the wording. I'll show you here. I basically copy and paste all this to you, and then highlight some of the keyword I think is important. Second criteria is not only you have to work, but you have to file the tax for the minimum for that 3 of the 4 years. And then also this is the first residential property that you can own in Canada. Okay, so that's that. Now, this is a federal law, so it affects anywhere in Canada. So if you are not banned from purchasing in the next 2 years, right? Because the foreign buyer ban is so far, they announced it, they will have 2 years ban for those people who are banned. But if you are not banned, right? Let's say you fulfill this work permit criteria. You say, hey, I'm holding on to the work permit. I meet the criteria 1, 2, and 3, so I can buy. You still have to look at the second law that is affecting you, which is the foreign buyer tax. Now, this one is just for Ontario. So, I'm in Ontario, so this is important to me. Assuming that you pass the foreign buyer ban, if you want to buy any residential property in Ontario, you still have to pay the tax upfront, which is 25% of the purchase price. When it launched in 2017, it used to be 15%, then it goes up to 20%, and then now the latest version is 25%. There are some other changes throughout this 3 type of version, but the latest one is 25%. Again, this tax, if you're a citizen or a permanent resident, no tax. Spouse of citizen or permanent resident, no tax. Again, refugee, no tax. The next one a lot of people do not know is you have to occupy that property within 60 days of the closing as a primary residence. Now, you may be able to get back your this tax, like 25% of the purchase price, And the only way to get it back is if you become a permanent resident within 4 years of closing. Okay, so if you're on work permit, but then you apply for immigration and they grant you immigration approve of your permanent residence status, you then are eligible to apply for the rebate. But the next point is also very important, and I do find that a lot of people do not know, is you actually have to apply for the rebate within 90 days of becoming permanent resident. Now, they specifically said that the clock starts to tick the day that you become permanent resident, not when you get your permanent resident card. In fact, they said that if you wait for the permanent resident card, you may be too late, because by the time you get your PR card, it might be 90 days or more already. So as soon as they say that you are now a permanent resident, just go ahead and apply for the rebate, because it's a lot of money. 25% of purchase price. If it is $1 million home, it's $250,000, right? It's a lot of money. So again, I'm not lawyer, tax accountant, whatever. Consult them. This is how I understand it. Now, there's the third law that is going to affect your client, is the anti-flipping tax. So again, it is effective January 1st, 2023. So how does it work, right? So let's say you purchase a principal home today and you sell it 6 months later. Let's say you buy 1 million and you sell for 1.1 million. The market is hot, right? Before this tax, normally you don't have to pay any tax. Before this tax change, I should say, you normally do not have to pay any tax because this is your principal home. Okay, now no longer. If you buy and sell within 365 days, any profit, you still have to report tax. Now, keep that in mind. Another thing about this tax is, let's say you buy a property, but it's investment property, and you sell. Normally you make money, you have to report tax, but that tax is capital gain. So 50% of that gain normally is tax free, and then the remaining 50% you use it as your taxable income. No longer. Effective January 1st, 2023, if you buy and sell within 365 days, right, all your profit is count as taxable income, right? So using the same example, if you buy at 1 million, sell at 1.1 million, that 100,000, everything taxable income. No principal home exemption, no capital gain, everything 100% taxable. Consult your tax accountant if you have any question. But this is how it works, and this is how I understand it. Lastly, vacancy tax. This one currently only affects property in Toronto, City of Toronto, okay? Not like GTA or something like that, City of Toronto. So this is what I mean, this City of Toronto thing, okay? If you live in Toronto, you know this logo very well. Every single property you have in City of Toronto, you have to declare it. You just have to go to this website. Again, I will have the link. I might do a separate YouTube video on showing you how to declare that, but you have to declare it for every single property you own in City of Toronto. Whether you live in it, you rent it out, you have your family member living in it, or it is vacant or something like that, doesn't matter. Go to that website and do it for each of your property. You have to declare it before February 2nd, 2023, I have the link again in the description. In order for you to declare that, you need the property tax bill because they will ask you information on that. If it is rented out, they need your tenant's name and the phone number of the tenant. What if you do not declare that? You have to pay 1% of what they call the current value assessment. I believe that's how much they assess your property on the tax bill. Each year you have to do the declaration. Each year you forgot, you have to pay 1% for the year. That's a lot of money. If your property is worth $1 million, that's $10,000. So do not forget to declare that. Now, if that property is vacant more than 6 months, again, they use, I think, 180, 4 or 86 days, whatever. If it is more than 6 months vacant, even you declare that, you still have to pay that 1%. If it is a tenant, like if you rent it out to a tenant more than 6 months, you're okay. If you live in that property more than 6 months, you're okay. If it is vacant for more than 6 months, you are not okay. You have to pay that 1% fee, okay, tax. Okay, now from now until February 2nd, 2023, you're actually declaring the year 2022. Okay, so let's say you have a property in Toronto which is vacant from, let's say, February to October, for example. Then unfortunately, this year when you declare that, you still have to pay that 1%. Okay, next year, 2023, find a tenant, find someone to live in it. Okay, but it's too late for 2022. It's all over, right? You just have to declare that and you have to pay that 1% tax. Okay, so these are the link where I get all the information from. Let me show you how it looks. This is where I get the foreign buyer ban, specifically the temporary resident exemption. I basically copy and paste that. I want to show you where I find it because this website has a lot of information. If you just come here and you may not find where I find the information. So it's item number 5 here. Again, this is the City of Toronto, the vacancy tax that the website for your declaration. This is where I find the foreign buyer tax, or they call it non-resident speculation tax. Who need to pay in Ontario and who can get back the rebate and all that. Okay. So again, I hope you like this video. I apologize for missing 2 months of video, but if you like what you hear, if you find it useful, consider subscribing to my channel. It's free of charge. Every time I have a video upload, you will get a notification. I do have a book selling on Amazon. You can see it on the screen, and also I do have online training that you can pay, and you can go to my website, check out what kind of training resource I have for you. If you are a new mortgage agent, you want to success in your career, you can consider go to my website and check out some of my training material. Okay, so I will see you next month.